This is something you shouldn't do. What was that? Is that a dog? It's Hillary.
2021 is an important year for a lot of people. Not the least of which is that after the disastrous year that was 2020, people are more eager than ever to move on and live better lives with hopefully the pandemic winding down and more. Another major event that helped usher in the new age of life for many was the changing of presidents in the United States. President Joe Biden was inaugurated, and the much maligned former president and Donald Trump left the White House with many questions following him. So given that, allow us to show you Donald Trump's plans after leaving the White House. Be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Number 6. He almost didn't leave. A very key thing to note about the former president is that while he may have entered the White House under certain controversies, see inciting fanatic voters, Russian interference, etc., how he almost didn't leave the White House was even more controversial. Because throughout 2020, as the election campaign raged on and Joe Biden emerged as the clear Democratic candidate, Trump grew more and more spiteful and clear in what he felt about the election. He kept making claims about fake votes and illegal votes, and that if he didn't win, the election was rigged, and so on and so forth. When the election finally happened, Trump did have a lead after certain states got their votes in, but Biden pulled ahead and won by a landslide. Not that this mattered to Trump, who started a large-scale campaign to win back the election, even if that meant going and breaking just about every single major rule or unspoken rule in the book, including continually trying to influence governors and other state officials to find more votes for him, telling them to stop the count in states where he was losing, and filing numerous appeals on the election with no merit at all so he could try and get a win. Which of course led to the infamous riot at the Capitol building by Trump's own followers, and started up by Trump himself to try and stop the confirmation of Joe Biden. By the time January 20th finally came, he didn't even wait for Biden to be inaugurated before leaving the White House by helicopter and flying away. A truly cowardly way to leave, but one befitting Donald Trump. Number 5. MarALago. In terms of the more immediate plans for Donald Trump, once he was out of the White House, he had to go and live somewhere else, right? Well, he had a plan. Because after the inauguration, he departed for the Palm Beach resort known as MarALago. Members of the president's family are also expected to head for Florida, leaving behind their longtime homes in New York City. And for a reason that some of you might know about. Prosecutors in New York are investigating the Trump Organization, and New York City authorities have said they severed contracts with Trump's businesses in the wake of the Capitol riot. The president's eldest daughter, Ivanka Trump, and her husband, Jared Kushner, also plan to move to Miami, according to a slew of reports, including Bloomberg's. As president, Trump often visited MarALago, whose original owner had long dreamed would become a winter White House. The president hosted foreign leaders and dignitaries there, and even sounded out policy ideas with high-profile guests and members. Some Palm Beach residents have started a campaign to stop Trump from living there permanently, saying he was permitted to turn it into a club and resort only on the condition that it wasn't his permanent residence. But as usual, Trump isn't one to follow the rules, and thus is living there happily. Number 4. Melania. This one is more of a question than anything else. Because if there was one story that was prevalent throughout Donald Trump's term, it's that of his marriage with wife Melania. Their marriage was one of a string that Trump has had over the years in regards to marrying for status. And that was very much true for Melania, as she was shown consistently and constantly in appearances with Trump to be unhappy, angry, and not wanting him to touch her. Many felt that once Trump was elected out of the White House, that she would divorce him and try to get custody of their son Barron, whom she has always had a strong bond with and even refused to move into the White House early on in Trump's term because she wanted Barron to finish at a certain school before they came to live in the White House. As of yet, Melania hasn't gone and filed for divorce. But technically speaking, it's early. It's only been a month or so since the inauguration, and so she might be trying to keep a low profile so that when she files for divorce, she's ready. On Donald's side of things, he definitely doesn't want Melania to divorce him, as that would hurt his standings in the political field. As it's almost expected of a president to be married, though it's not a rule to be clear. So perhaps he's going to be working hard to keep his marriage together so that he can go and… Number 3. Prepare for 2024. By law, a president in the modern era, meaning after FDR, can only serve 2 terms in the White House. The loophole is that it doesn't need to be consecutive terms. President Grover Cleveland is the sole example of this happening, But when things started to go south for Trump, he already made motions that he would go and run in 2024. But that wasn't all. Because as more and more reports from after the inauguration grew, a common theme popped up. Mainly in that Donald Trump wanted to make his own political party, should the Republican Party not back him in the next election. He discussed the matter with several aides and other people close to him during the last week of his term, the People said. The president said he would want to call the new party the Patriot Party, they also noted. It's unclear how serious Trump is about starting a new party, which would require a significant investment of time and resources. The president has a large base of supporters, some of whom were not deeply involved in Republican politics prior to Mr. Trump's 2016 campaign. Of course, any monetary investment would not likely come from him, as many are citing that he's heavy in debt via the 2020 campaign, and was even trying to raise funds late in the game to pay off those debts. But that won't stop him from going even deeper into debt if it means running again. Could this plan work? Technically, sure, depending on how many people come to his party. But the catch is a similar tune to what has been seen before in other parties and candidates. Typically, the third member of the race is a spoiler in that they'll take votes away from a certain candidate and lead the other party to win. This happened with Ralph Nader and George Bush that allowed Bill Clinton to win the White House. And first happened with Teddy Roosevelt's Bull Moose Party that allowed Woodrow Wilson to win. Most are actually hoping this will happen for the sole reason that this would make it easier for Democrats to win the White House again, and ensure that another radical like Trump won't get in. Number 2. Fighting lawsuits and indictments. This is a key one, and one that has already gotten a lot of discussion on various fronts. Because now that Donald Trump is out of the White House, he can be served with all sorts of charges on levels like fraud, inciting a riot, treason, and more. Some of these charges have already been brought forth via Congress in the now infamous second impeachment hearing, where even with Trump having loads of evidence against him, Republicans wouldn't allow an indictment to happen under filibuster rules. And one of the head Republicans, Mitch McConnell, admitted he was guilty, but voted against indicting him, and even made it so that the first indictment wouldn't go through while he was president. But even if Congress isn't willing to go after him, various state and local authorities can. As noted earlier, the Trumps are moving out of New York because New York authorities are coming at them in certain ways. What's more, other agencies like the FBI are looking into Donald Trump, and the Supreme Court has made a ruling about being able to see Trump's tax returns that aims to put a better estimate on his money situation. So this is what might be occupying his time for a bit. Number 1. Fighting loudly. No matter what he does overall in the next 10 months, there is one thing that everyone, regardless of whether you like Trump or not, can expect. He'll keep fighting for his justice, and he'll do it as loudly as possible. He thinks he's a victim. He thinks he was robbed a second term in the White House. And he thinks that everything he does is 100% legal. It's not. And so when you put that all together, Trump is going to keep doing what Trump does best. Stir things up, incite his cult followers, and call out anyone who says Trump is doing wrong. Besides, what else is he going to do with his free time? Actually do work? Please. So what do you think? What do you think of this look at the former President Donald Trump and what his plans for the future may be? Are you surprised at the delusion of this man and how things continue to revolve around him even though he's not in the White House anymore? What do you think he will do throughout the rest of 2021? Will he really run in 2024 for the White House again? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.